Hello, hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Blitzball Champs back with a brand new video. So, today I wanted to talk more Carolina Panthers talk. Um, Specifically, I'm going to give my depth chart slash starting lineup projections for this upcoming season. So, the draft is done, schedule's out. Only thing that's yet to begin is I believe what, training camp and preseason. So yeah, we've gotten quite a roster. So I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on projected starting lineups and also my main areas of concern. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the offense. I have the team roster up from their home website, Carolina Panthers website. So try to be as accurate as I can based on what they have, and go from there. All right, let's get started. So let's start with the quarterbacks, the field general. One of the most important pieces of the offense. It's already safe to say that Teddy Bridgewater will be the starter, will be the starting quarterback. I mean, after all, he was picked up, Cam Newton was let go. So Teddy Bridgewater, pretty much by default, will be the starter. Backing him up, we got Will Grier and PJ Walker, who came from the XFL. It's going to be really interesting to see how the competition goes for that backup quarterback position between PJ Walker and Will Grier. But something tells me we're probably going to see another quarterback in the mix during the preseason, just to kind of, take a look at somebody. But as far as Will Grier, I mean, he didn't have a touchdown last season, even, when he got a chance to start near the end of the season. I don't know. This might be, this might be Will Grier's last chance to really impress, because he has not really done too well. So have to see if this year he can redeem himself, and hopefully he can give a great showing in preseason, because you never know. Like, at any given point in time, we never want to wish injuries on anybody, but when it happens, it's the next man up, and the next man has to be ready. And I just don't think Will Grier is that right now, but I'm hoping that could change. PJ Walker was on the what I believe XFL was what, the Texas Roughnecks. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that, but he was on a team that was 5-0 before the XFL shut down. So it'll be interesting. PJ Walker's a Temple guy, which of course we all know. Head coach Matt Rule has coached at Temple, so it'll be interesting. Should be some decent competition for the backup quarterback role, but I think at some point between now and the end of the preseason, they're gonna give another quarterback a shot to see what they can do. But Teddy Bridgewater is the starter for sure. All right, let's look at running backs. Let's look at some running backs. So, of course, we all know that, Christian McCaffrey is going to be your number one. But we got a little bit of depth at running back. So we got Reggie Bonifant, got Jordan Scarlett, Mike Davis, Rodney Smith. I really feel that Reggie Bonifant has a strong case to be the backup running back. We got to see some flashes from him last season, and he's got potential. He's definitely got a lot of potential. I like Reggie Bonifant, I really do. Out of Louisville, I like Reggie Bonifant. He's young, he's hungry, and I think he can be a good 1-2 combination with Christian McCaffrey. So I really hope he gets a good bit of the carries as well, because I really want them to be able to decrease the carries for Christian McCaffrey and utilize him more, but also, not overuse him. I mean, I understand that this is Christian McCaffrey's team now. He's the top star player on the Carolina Panthers, but they need to decrease his carries. Especially if they're going to be using him in the run game and in the passing game. Because they can easily split him wide out as well, and he'll do well. So I'm really hoping that either Reggie Bonifant or even Jordan Scarlett. We got a couple of flashes of Jordan Scarlett until he got injured, but I think those two backs are your top two backs to take that backup role. And I don't really know much about Mike Davis, but he has 6 years of experience. So, I mean, we'll have to see how that goes. And we got the rookie Rodney Smith on the team as well. So, I mean, we got some depth. We definitely got some depth. I just really hope that we utilize our running backs better. Like, it's one of the things that I really hated about when we still had Cameron Artis Payne. Like, I felt like Cameron Artis Payne was great. We just didn't really give him any chances. You know, I mean, the last game of the 2015 season, Cameron Artis Payne started against the Bucks, and he played great. So I really hope to get a chance to see some of the other running backs shine, like Reggie Bonifant and Jordan Scarlett. I think they have a great chance. So I really hope they get a good amount of touches going forward. But I feel like for a backup running back, you can't go wrong with Reggie Bonifant and Jordan Scarlett. I would say those two are probably the front runners for the backup running back spot. And then for fullback, we got Alex Arma, which, he's pretty much sealed. I mean, he's been the main fullback for the last couple of years. So, I mean, that should be set in stone. So, Alex Arma is fullback. Okay, let's go to our aerial attack in the wide receivers. So, we have quite a lot of weapons for wide receivers. So it's pretty safe to say that the starting three, at least the top three, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel. I think you got Anderson and Moore split wide out with Curtis Samuel in the slot. Got a couple of other receivers on there. Seth Roberts, he's veteran. He's got a lot of years, 6 years experience. DeAndrew White we brought back, who's showed a couple of bright spots from last season. Brandon Zolstra, who was mainly for special teams, but I mean we got some depth at wide receiver. Keith Kirkwood coming from the Saints, I believe. Demir Jean-Pierre Jr., Ishmael Hyman, Trevante Heights. We also have Omar Bayless and Pharaoh Cooper. If you ask me, I predict that it will probably be DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, and if you want to put a fourth on there, maybe Seth Roberts because of experience. But I do believe those first three will definitely be the main three receivers to get the most action, and Anderson, Moore, and Samuel. I really hope they use Samuel more, especially as a deep threat. They've been using him quite a bit on reverses, end arounds, jet sweeps, stuff like that. Curtis Samuel definitely has the speed for that, but I really hope he gets more chances in the as a deep threat. Um, Robbie Anderson, same thing. He shows. He was the New York Jets' top receiver, so I really expect Robbie Anderson to really bring in some greatness to the team. And he's pretty big for a wide receiver, 6'3", 190 pounds. So Scott's definitely one of the taller receivers that we have. And then again, Keith Kirkwood is pretty tall as well. So I mean, we got a little bit of height, so that's good. Um, as far as receivers, there are probably going to be more towards special teams will probably be Pharaoh Cooper, which he's known for his return game, and Brandon Zelstra, since we used them in the return game before. So It'll really be good to see how they do with special teams. I know DJ Moore has some special teams experience, but I think he's locked in as our number one receiver, even if he's not the number one receiver. But I'm hoping that his success continues. He's greatly improved. He's taking care of the ball really well, especially compared to his rookie year. So DJ Moore is slowly evolving more and more into an elite receiver. Is he a long ways from number one? Mm, maybe, but he's getting closer. He's definitely getting closer. It just has to continue to be consistent. But my eyes are really going to be on Curtis Samuel and some of the veterans and such, like Seth Roberts, Keith Kirkwood. Um, got some of the other young guys on there, which it'll be interesting to see who ends up getting roster spots. But we got a whole lot of receivers to look at. Got a whole lot of receivers to look at. So I'm very curious to see what new faces will break out and really benefit to this team. It's exciting though. It's really exciting. Um, you know, ever since Steve Smith, Carolina really hasn't had a true number one receiver, and it looks like it's probably going to just end up being somebody that's going to end up developing into one. And like I said, DJ Moore is a good example of that. He's on his way, so we'll see. And then Robbie Anderson, who was pretty much the top guy with the New York Jets, so you could transition that into this team. But I'm very, very excited for our wide receiving core. I really am looking forward to see who breaks out of this bunch. Not only just in the offense, but also special teams as well. We definitely need good returners, and to take some of the return load off of Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore, who have been returners in special teams game in the past. All right, tight ends. We got quite a handful of tight ends to look at. Of course, Ian Thomas is definitely going to get that number one spot. I feel like it's without question. Um, Manhurts, he's been kind of injury prone. So, I mean, he's the other one that has a lot of experience on this team. If he can stay healthy, he's a number two, almost for sure. But it's been kind of plagued with injuries. So hopefully he can have a healthy season. We picked up Seth DeValve, who's got 5 years of experience. So, which I think he's mainly known for being a blocking tight end. I could be wrong. Tamara Hemingway. We got Giovanni Ricci, Cam Sutton, who we drafted, I believe, or signed undrafted free agent. I'm sorry. Uh, let's see, Colin Thompson, a Temple guy, but we got we got quite a handful to work with. I feel like Ian Thomas for sure will get that number one spot. Uh, for tight end on the other end, if they want to do a double tight end set, is probably, my guess is going to come down between Manhurts, if he can stay healthy, and Seth Devolve. Um, I know we definitely gonna need some good blocking, so maybe Seth Devolve may be the number two tight end. We'll see, but it'll be interesting to see how the tight ends get used with this new offense, because we got to remember, new offensive coordinator in Joe Brady. It's just a whole new system to look forward to. So it'll be interesting to see how the tight ends get used. But I think for sure, at least for sure, Ian Thomas has got that number one spot. Okay, now let's look at our offensive line. So at center, I mean, for centers we got Frederick Maui Goa, Sam Tecklenburg, uh, and of course we have Matt Paradis and Tyler Larson. I think it's for sure that Matt Paradis will get the starting position as he has previously, but Tyler Larson is also a really good candidate for center as well. Has has experience being a tackle, I believe, but has had to transition to center, especially back when Matt Khalil got hurt. Excuse me, Ryan Khalil. I keep getting those two mixed up. Ryan Khalil got hurt, and Tyler Larson has filled in as center, and that's actually done pretty well. So I feel like the center position is strong with Matt Paradis and Tyler Larson. Not too concerned. Looks like they're really going to try to build up Matt Paradis quite a bit. Um, Tyler Larson is a little bit younger than Paradis, but I don't think you could go wrong with either of those two. But I think from the experience, Matt Paradis has probably got that position locked down. But you got a solid backup in Larson. But it'll be interesting to see how the others do in the preseason as well. Okay, for our guards, the guards. Oh man, the guards are. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. We have Mike Horton, John Miller, Chris Reed, Michael Schofield the third. Um, well, if you ask me, the two guards. I mean, if we're going with two guards, like from that group, because I know we got a bunch of tackles. We got a bunch of offensive tackles that can also play guard as well. So, you know, I really feel like, I mean, we picked up John Miller and Michael Schofield the third in free agency. Michael Schofield was on the Denver Broncos offensive line when they beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl. He started every game with the Chargers last season. I really feel like Schofield is a lockdown for one of the guard positions, for sure. I definitely think he's a lockdown for one of the guard positions. Um, John Miller, I don't know anything about. I mean, even though I believe he's coming from the Bengals, I don't really know anything about him, but he's got 6 years of experience. So, I mean, if we want to go with the experience, I mean, the two guards would probably be Schofield and Miller. But I think once we take a look at the tackles, we'll probably get a better idea. But here's our list of who's designated as tackles. So offensive tackles: Brandon Bowen, Juwan Bushell Beatty, Dennis Daly, Matt Caskey, Greg Little, Tyler Martz, Taylor Moton, Aaron Monteiro, Russell Okung. Okay, now with the tackles, I mean, we traded away Trey Turner, our best guard, to get Russell Okung, who will be at that left tackle position. That's the idea, is putting him at left tackle at the blind side. So my only concern, so this comes to my first concern, the O line in general. So looking at the people that we no longer have, no Trey Turner, no Greg Van Roten, no Daryl Williams. So we're definitely getting a whole new offensive line. I like Greg Little, but he had the concussion issue last year. There were flashes of him when he got a chance to play, and he did well, but injury really kept him from being utilized. So hopefully this season he has a chance to make the starting lineup, because I believe he would be great on the starting lineup. But also we have to remember Taylor Moton. Taylor Moton has some experience in the starting lineup as well. So this is tough, because with Russell Okung, who has a Super Bowl title with the Seahawks, who has a lot of experience, 11 years experience. He's coming off I believe, a blood clot, or something like that. So his health seems questionable. But I mean, if he's good to go, great. But I'm just really concerned just about overall health, and just with this offensive line, that they can build a unit. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, there's not really going to be any star players on this offensive line, at least not on paper. But if we can build a cohesive unit, and utilize the depth as well, because like I said, anything can happen. But if you were to ask me what potential starting offensive line I could picture, so at center, Matt Paradis. For the guards, one of them is at least Michael Schofield, because I feel like he brings the most experience and consistency. So I believe he will get one of those guard positions. Now, like I said, I don't know much about John Miller, so I'm not going to assume that he's a surefire starting guard as well. But Michael Schofield, I believe, definitely should be one of those starting guard positions. For tackles, it's probably going to either be Okung and Moton, which is probably the easy pick. But I feel like if Greg Little can stay healthy, or even Dennis Daly. Dennis Daly had to fill in as well. If Greg Little can stay healthy, he's a really, really good tackle to compete with for a starting tackle spot. So it's tough. It's really tough. Like, it's definitely a concern, but at least, Carolina, looked to address it by signing, a bunch of the, undrafted players. And, they also made a lot of moves in free agency to get some offensive linemen. So, I mean, I think they have an opportunity to build something good. We just got to let them do it. And just everybody's got to stay healthy. But this has been an issue for years. but it looks like they have addressed it through free agency. So let's see what happens. But I think it's up in the air what the best starting offensive line would be. But it could turn into something special. We'll see. All right. Let's move on to the defense. Okay. This is going to be tougher. This is going to be much tougher. Let's start with the D line. Um, so we got a lot of defensive linemen, and some of them are hybrid that can or edge rusher or could also play linebacker. So Brian Burns, Utir Grossmatos. I don't even know if I said that correctly. One of our drafts. Marquise Haynes, Wes. We still have Wes Horton. I didn't think we still had Wes Horton. I think that may be an error, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong. I don't think we have Wes Horton anymore. Um, let's see. We got Zach Kerr, Effie Obata, Austrian Robinson, uh, Chris Smith, Stephen Weatherly. This is mainly for defensive end that we're looking at. Now, we already know how well Brian Burns did as edge rusher. But it also makes me wonder if we're going to put him at linebacker some, which, I'll get to the linebackers eventually. But, with one of our new draft pickups in Yetur Grossmatos, or YGM, as a lot of people like to say, YGM picked up from Penn State. A lot of potential, actually, potential to be a starter. That's what a lot of folks are hyping him up as, and it wouldn't surprise me. But this D line is definitely going to be a big deal. But Zach Kerr, has a lot of experience, 7 years experience. And it's different because we don't have Mario Addison anymore. Um, we're missing a lot of folks from the D line that we had last year. No Gerald McCoy, no Don Terry Poe, no Mario Addison. So I mean, and I want to say I think Wes Horton's gone, even though on the ESPN roster it says he's still on there. But yeah, um, but I think with Carolina going really hard in the draft on defense, picked up quite a number of defensive linemen. And even we got Devontae Lambert, which I believe he was picked up in free agency. And so was Stephen Weatherly, who was coming from the Vikings. And he might even get a starting position. Effie Obata, who played with us last year, showed some good sparks. And of course, we re-signed him to keep him for another year, another 1 or 2 years. But I definitely see a lot of potential on the defensive end side. And, with them picking up folks like Chris Smith and Stephen Weatherly and Zach Kerr that have a lot of experience, I mean, I feel like they may be the front runners to take a starting defensive end position. And then, of course, you also, got Marquise Haynes, who's, been on the team, you know, for the last couple of years. I believe it was drafted. Yeah, he was drafted by Carolina. So, so I mean, you got some depth at defensive end, and I like this. I definitely like this. Um, it will be interesting to see what happens. Maybe you can get like rotational players. You know, maybe have Brian Burns at linebacker and then occasionally put him on the D line. Because I mean, the idea is, I believe they're going to be switching back to the 4-3 defense under new defense coordinator Phil Snow. Um, but yeah, I definitely feel, you know, with some veteran additions that have, you know, some experience, we could have, you know, we could be pretty set on the edge rushing on the defensive end. So I definitely like what they did. Definitely like, and I feel like it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I don't think you can go wrong with Chris Smith, Zach Kerr, Stephen Weatherly, you know, either of them on one side. You know, even our rookie, YGM. And then, of course, rotate Brian Burns in there as well from linebacker to defensive end. Honestly, I'd say mix it up. Mix it up. Mix it up. I'll leave it at that. Mix it up. Now for the defensive tackles, which definitely we've definitely went pretty big on. See, Devontae Lambert. Oh, oh, he can also play defensive tackle. Oh, interesting. Devontae Lambert, Bravian Roy, which is one of our draft pickups from Baylor. We have, of course, K1 Short, Woodrow Hamilton, our number one draft pick, Derek Brown, Miles Adams. I almost said Miles Davis. um, I'm really glad that we addressed this because even though Derek Brown wasn't my top pick for first round draft because I wanted Isaiah Simmons, but after I saw the roster, I was like, oh, we only got two DTs on there, so we need some depth. So went ahead and did that. And this was good. This gives some more depth at the defensive tackle, you know, up in the middle. Um, I think you got a deadly combination with K1 Short and Derek Brown in the middle. I think you can really do some damage, but it's good that we have depth as well. You know, we got Bravion Roy, Devontae Lambert, Woodrow Hamilton, who has a little bit of experience. He's been on the team. So we at least have a little bit of depth at defensive tackle, which is really good. Because after we lost Gerald McCoy and Don Poe, we were really lacking that. So, but I think, excuse me, but I do believe that K1 Short, you know, who is coming back from season ending injury, so hopefully he can get back to his healthy self and be the star defensive tackle he once was. And then put Derek Brown side to side with him. I think our problems with stopping the run, this will really, really help fix that. I think you got these two big guys. You got a proven star in K1 Short, and you got an up and rising star in Derek Brown, who I believe will do well. I believe will do very well. So I would say Derek Brown and K1 Short in the middle can really do some damage. Really do some damage. So I look forward to that duo. I really do. I think that'll be a good duo. And Derek Brown signed his rookie contract, 4 years. So good stuff. Okay, the linebackers. This is a big concern for me. The linebackers. Now I had mentioned Brian Burns. We also have Jermaine Carter Jason Ferris, Sam Franklin, Jordan Kunazik. I don't even know if I said that right. Jordan Mack, Christian Miller, Chris Orr, David Reese II, Andre Smith, Sion Tehima, Shaq Thompson, Tahir Whitehead. Um, whew. With Luke Kuechly retiring, this left a big old hole in the linebacking core. And with us going back to the 4-3 defense, this will be tough. But, I mean, I'm hesitant on putting Brian Burns there only because he's done such an excellent job as an edge rusher. But I mean, he is that combo player that can edge rush and can play linebacker. So I'm guessing that probably the starting linebackers is probably going to be Shaq Thompson in the middle. It might be Shaq Thompson in the middle, and that will be really interesting. That'll be very interesting. Um, but I mean, he knows the system. He knows the system. He's been here with Carolina 6 years. He knows the system. So I mean, with no Luke Kuechly, with no Thomas Davis, I mean, Shaq is really the next one up. Not to take away from Tahir Whitehead, who has more experience, and he's a Temple guy. Um, but then again, new defense coordinator, so you never know. You never know. But I would say probably Shaq Thompson in the middle, Tahir Whitehead, and probably Brian Burns on the outsides. Um, I really hope to see some action from Andre Smith and Christian Miller. I think those may be the two sleepers at linebacker. Kind of like maybe the upcoming AJ Kleins. Because AJ Klein, was an up and comer in Carolina, and he actually did really well when he had to sub in for Luke Kuechly, and also did great on special teams. So AJ Klein and pretty much became an elite linebacker. So I'm really hoping the same sort of thing will happen with Christian Miller, who also I believe is a linebacker defensive end combo, um, and Andre Smith. I think those are the two that I have my eyes on the most. There is also Jermaine Carter as well, which I believe he's mainly. I think they've had him rotated at linebacker and on special teams. I know Jordan Kunazik has been on special teams. So yeah, this is a big concern for me because you really can't replace Luke Kuechly, and he brought so much to the defense. But I think Shaq, Brian, Tahir are probably going to be your starting linebacker core. Um, will be interesting. Can Shaq fit that middle linebacker spot and really take over as a leader on defense? Because he is now in that position where he could do that. I'm just saying. But those are the linebackers. Those are my predictions for starting linebackers. Um, and then my remaining concern, the secondary, the defensive backs. So first, let's take a look at the cornerbacks, or at least in that tier. So we have Miles Hartsfield, Dante Jackson, Natrell Jamerson, Troy Pride Jr., uh, Derek Thomas, Stanley Thomas Oliver III, and technically Jeremy Chin, who can play both. He can play both. Whew. There is going to be a lot of pressure on Dante Jackson to become a leader of this secondary. I believe. I mean, it's going to come down between him and Trey Boston, but I feel like Dante Jackson has the most to prove in this secondary. You know, as now a veteran, as now someone who really has the opportunity to step up. We don't have James Bradbury anymore. We don't have Ross Cockrell anymore. So we've seen flashes of what Dante Jackson can do, but we've also seen plenty of flashes of what he lacks at. But even with that being said, you know, he is going to be a starting cornerback. He is going to get a lot of action. I'm just really hoping that he can grow into an elite cornerback because we really need that. Um. Oh yeah, we also have Corn Elder, which uh I don't know about Corn Elder. I just don't know. I really don't know. Um. If anything, some may say that Troy Pride Jr. has a great chance to make starting cornerback. We'll see, because he was one of our drafts out of Notre Dame, but I don't know, man. The cornerback positions are just. I mean, they have Natrell Jamerson on there that has 3 years of experience, but we haven't really seen much of him. You know, so like we got Derek Thomas, a rookie out of Baylor, which he does. He is tall, and Stanley Thomas Oliver III out of Florida International, he's tall as well, 6'2" and 6'3". But and technically, Corn Elder has 4 years of experience, but I just don't know. I I just don't know. I'm really not. I'm just really not confident for the cornerback position. I know Dante Jackson's going to be on there, and it's probably going to come down to either Natrell Jamerson, or they may just take a chance on Corn Elder, or they may give Troy Pride Jr. a shot to be a starter. But I really think the cornerback position, specifically, not safety, specifically cornerback position, I believe is lacking. Might be lacking. But, you know, we drafted a bunch of DBs, and some of them, you know, like with Jeremy Chin, can play cornerback as well. So who knows? We may see some shuffling of some safeties may end up playing cornerback. It's not impossible, but we'll see. And speaking of safeties, let's go right into the safeties. Quinn Blanding, Trey Boston, Justin Burris, Jeremy Chin, TJ Green, Cole Luke, Kenny Robinson. Uh we know Trey Boston is a lock for safety, which I believe he would be playing free safety, if I remember correctly. So Trey Boston at free safety. Uh, the other veteran on excuse the lawnmower noise in the background. Justin Burris, also has experience, and he's an NC State guy. Um, was played for the Browns. He's probably gonna be maybe he'll be at that strong safety position, but like I said, Jeremy Chin, may be competing for a safety spot, but at the same time, he could end up being a cornerback because he can play both. So I don't know. Cole Luke, I'm not too sold on. And then we got Kenny Robinson, coming out of West Virginia. Uh, if you ask me, Trey Boston at free safety, at strong safety, probably Justin Burris. That's who I think. That's who I definitely think will be the starting safeties. But they got plenty of depth at safety. So this is good. This is really good. And then special teams. Uh Not sure what the status of Graham Gano is going to be. I don't even know if he's healthy. But if he is, I think Graham Gano may get his starting spot back, but he'll have to compete for it. Because, Joey Sly did do pretty well. But I do think we should keep both kickers because, Joey Sly is on the up and coming, and I believe that he can step in for Graham Gano when the time comes. Because I don't see Graham Gano being there for too much longer. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Of course, Michael Pilardi at punting's done a great job. J.J. Jansen, our long snappers, done a great job. So, and like I said, for returners, I think you have for kickoff returns probably Pharaoh Cooper and Brandon Zelstra, maybe DeAndrew White in there, and I think for a punt returner probably Pharaoh Cooper. That's what I would say. But yeah, those are my predictions for starting lineup. But I'm really curious to see the preseason because I want to see who can step up, who can really blow up and become something. But this has me excited. This has me excited. But like I said, my main concerns are the O line, the linebackers, and the secondary. Those are my main three concerns uh, as the upcoming preseason and season approaches. But anyway, what are y'all's thoughts? Who do y'all like? Who do y'all want at starting lineup? Who do you think will be at starting lineup? Who do you think will blow up? Who do you think will be a bust? Let me know what your thoughts are. And thank y'all so much for watching. This is Blitzball Champ out. Have a blessed day.